You are no longer competing with the competition. Wait, what? That's right. You are no longer competing with the competition. There is a new competitor in town, and I am going to talk all about it in today's video. But first things first, why are you not competing with the competition? Consumers, as you either are experiencing or what you've seen in your business or just your personal life, we've all been forced into this digital transformation over the last year and a half because of COVID. How we use technology, where we use technology, and even why we use technology is completely different today than it was 12, 15 months ago. So what does that mean to you and your business? And then also why you're not competing with the competition. Well, consumers know that we have access to their personal data. In fact, they are expecting us to anticipate what their experience is and to personalize it as much as we possibly can along the way, giving them a great experience, not only with you, but through the buying process so that ultimately they're happy and they become retained customers. They have a higher level of expectation as to where they find information, how they find information, and even how quickly people respond to their questions and inquiries and information that they're looking for on a day-to-day basis. So when the levels of expectations rise, what you need to deliver also needs to rise with it. So have you changed anything with how you're digitally communicating with your prospects and customers? Have you noticed a decrease in your customer base? Have you noticed any changes with how often that they interact with you or that they are buying from you again? Those are the types of things I'm going to talk about in today's video. So make sure that you stick with me and let's get to it. In order for your prospects and customers to find you and stay in touch with what new products or services or offerings or solutions that you have, they need to first know where you are, right? And that helps if you define who your ideal customers are so that you can be present in those places and then understand what their emotions are, what triggers them to buy, what triggers them to take that next action in order to solve a particular problem in their business. In order to do that, you need to define your personas, which is what I talked about last week, and one of the things I talk about in almost all of my videos. So that is your first step in doing that. So if you want to catch up on that video, go ahead and click that link and go back and watch that one, and then jump into this video. The second step in that process is know. So get to know, like, and trust you, right? Before anybody's going to buy from you, they have to know who you are. They have to like you. Then they'll buy from you. So it is a process, and understanding who your ideal customers are is going to help with that entire journey. Let me get into this first before we start talking about all the details. I want to answer that question of who are you competing with, right? So your competitors are no longer your competition. Do you know what is? In this video series, I've been talking about an old truth and a new truth as it relates to the Harvard Business Review article that I'll link below this video. And this week, the old truth is that you're no longer competing with your competition. The new truth is that you are competing with your customer's last best experience. Let me say that again. You are competing with your customer's last great or best experience. How do you know what that is? Was it even with you? The reason why I bring this up is because, as I mentioned earlier, with online technology and the way consumers are interacting with people and brands today, is that the experience is really what drives them back to you or back to that resource or process that they experience, and really experience some joy from going from point A to point B or point A to point Z in the process that they were looking for. So think about a great experience that you've had. And if you had a great experience with a brand or buying something, then you want to have that same experience on all platforms. In fact, you've probably said that at some point, like, I wish X company would be like Z company and provide that same level of experience that just made it super easy to buy from them or to get an answer from them, right? We all want that. We all want to have a seamless experience, and we want things to happen quickly and at the pace that we want them to happen. And when you have an experience like that, that's what people talk about. And that's why this new truth of marketing is so important to you and your business, because your consumers are no longer looking at people you consider or businesses that you consider competition. They're looking at, what was that great last experience that I had, and how can others deliver on that same or better experience in the future? So what you need to do, and what this video is all about, is mapping out your customer experience. Now, since we're only focusing on the no step of the customer journey, I'm going to keep the focus on that, but I want you to think about the entire customer journey, which, let's be honest, can be daunting at times, right? And that's why people hire me to take that daunting aspect off, because I actually enjoy doing that. So it doesn't have to be daunting, okay? It can be one aspect of your customer journey, and it doesn't even have to be knowing those different steps yet, okay? So if you want just one place to start, you can look at one of the platforms that you're posting content on. So if you're using Facebook as one of your platforms, look at Facebook and look at the data and the analytics and how many sales you got from that, how many started out as a great lead but then ended in a loss. They ended up going with someone else. What was that experience? What was the reason why they didn't buy from you? Maybe it wasn't your price like a lot of people think it could be. It actually could have been the experience. Understanding those different points in your process is going to ultimately help you deliver on a great customer experience. And don't you want your customers to talk about the experience they had with you and your brand and compare you now to that next experience that they want to have? Of course, that's what we all want to do, right? So you want to become that new bar level of what the expectation is that they want moving forward. And that can only start with understanding what's currently going on in your business and understanding where the gaps are, maybe some overlaps, or maybe some opportunities to improve a technology or automation in order to make that experience even better. We all know that we can't stay stagnant in our businesses. We need to constantly evaluate and modify and edit and update, and it can actually be fun if you do it along the way when it's actually happening. If you wait and only do it when it becomes a necessity, like you start to see customer loss and you don't know what's going on and you haven't stayed in contact with your customers and you don't know what they're thinking or feeling or doing, then that's actually going to keep you from, one, having fun in the process, but then also, two, not staying current on what the latest and greatest is in the experiences that they expect from you and really everybody else. What I'm going to do today is just quickly go through 7 steps that you can walk through in your business to get a jump start on understanding that customer experience so that you can determine whether or not it actually is a great experience, or if there's some opportunities to improve what you're doing or how you're delivering or engaging information or with your customers along the process. As I mentioned in last week's video, my ideal customer, or one of my ICA's ideal customer avatars, is Sarah. She's a small business owner and she's plateaued in her business and really wants to grow, but doesn't have the marketing expertise on her team, and she herself doesn't know how to market her business to actually take her business to the next level. And that was really the first step, defining your persona. The second step is letting them get to know who you are. In order for them to get to know you, you need to create that type of content, right? So you can even use that as your first phase of identifying your customer journey. So that can be the first thing, is to just map it out. It can be the entire journey, or if you just want to look at one channel, look at your customer data, look at your customer service results, look at your advisory boards, any groups that you have in your business or data analytics that you can draw from as a starting point really is just the best first step that you can take in this overall process. Let's use my ICA as an example. Sarah spends time on LinkedIn. Okay, she's a small business owner and that's one of the channels that she spends a lot of her time on. So I'm going to be spending time on LinkedIn and understanding who Sarah is, not only connecting with those people, but engaging in their content and really starting to share my expertise in how I help, not pitching, not trying to sell, not trying to get them to join my email list. I'm simply providing a resource, me, as the answer to questions that they might be posting on LinkedIn. So I want to share my experiences and help that person along the way. And the more often I do that with my ideal customers on LinkedIn, then my name is going to continue to pop up and be more relevant when they start to need my services. So in order to do that is to, again, know who your ideal customers are, connect with them, follow them on whichever platform you need to be. And then the most important thing in this know phase is to tap into their content. What are they doing? How can you engage with them on their post and on their platforms, meaning the platform that they're spending the most time on? And really the ultimate thing here is to just be present. The more often that you can engage with their content and ask them thought-provoking questions about, what that post was all about and how you can help answer those questions is going to really ultimately pay out in the end for you, because you're going to be seen as a resource. You're going to be seen as a thought leader in that space. And when it comes time to taking that next step in their journey, they're going to remember you because you took the time to invest in them. The second thing is the persona, which I think I've spent enough time on, but just make sure that you understand who that one persona is that you want to hone in on in this entire customer journey. Because if you've got 2 or 3 different personas in your business, then you're going to treat those separately. And then also by breaking it down is going to make it a lot easier and less daunting to get to that end result of looking at the customer experience. The third thing is to just map out each step. So in LinkedIn, I will want to map out the customer journey steps for my ICA, Sarah, along the way. I had mentioned one of them being to follow her. And then the second thing is to engage with the content. And then ultimately, what does my process look like with engaging with them? I don't want it to end there. I do want to help or at least offer that next step to connect or offer to send a direct message on some information that she had asked for, but maybe I don't want to share publicly. Maybe I want to personalize it to her, and asking her if I could send her a direct message with that information is one way to take that experience to the next level. 1, it shows that I'm interested. 2, it shows I'm listening. 3, it's showing that I'm helpful. 4, I'm giving her the answer to that next step that she's ultimately wanting to take in her journey towards a solution. And then 5, it leads me down that path to helping her further. And I'm doing it at her pace and in her journey along the way, ultimately making it a great experience for her. The 4th thing is to document each touch point. If you're starting off on LinkedIn and then you're taking it to a direct message, and then you're ultimately saying email, now they're on your email list. Now what does that look like? Or is that person on an email list with other people? Probably. You're probably putting them in a group with other people who are like-minded, that persona. But maybe it's taken it to a next level and she wants help with implementing Hubspot CRM, which she saw a video on that I did on this channel as well, which I'll link to here. It's a great resource for managing leads, creating leads, doing your marketing, your sales, your customer service, everything. If it's something that she's interested in learning more on, then she would go into a different group than just the Sarahs of the world. I would do subsegments of that, and that will help me take that journey and that experience for her to the next level, because now I'm even more specific on what it is that she needs. Personalizing it with her name and just really making it personal to her. She knows I have her email address. She knows that I know what she's interested in. So all of those pieces of data ultimately are going to help me help her along the way and really create that great experience. Once you've documented the touch points, you'll actually want to validate the process. And you can do this with advisory boards, or you can do this with your VIP group of customers, which I've talked about before. Those customers who've stayed loyal to you, those are the people that you want to reward for being loyal to you. And those are the people that you also want to involve in the process and really understanding what improvements that you need to make in order to make it even better for them. And why not invest in people who have invested so much in you with not only their money, but with their time and with their choices? Because let's face it, there's all kinds of choices out there and they've chosen to stick with you. So what way can you help reward them by choosing you as their solution provider? After you've validated the process, you'll want to establish your key performance indicators, so your KPIs. What does success in this process look like to you? What does success in this process look like for them? You'll want to have measurements in place so that when you implement it, you understand if it's actually working. And then also understanding if it's not working, what key performance indicators or what step in the process are you going to look at to help understand this is why I'm not meeting this key performance indicator, and here's what I need to do in order to actually achieve it. So having those different indicators in your process is going to ultimately help you make that decision on whether or not you're really delivering on that great experience or not. And the seventh step is to implement it. Once you've tested it, you first created it, you've tested it, you've established the key performance indicators, now it's time to launch it. You need to implement it. Make sure that you have all people involved in the process, the entire journey, the entire experience involved from the very beginning. And also make sure that you communicate with them when this process is launching. That is a really important factor in the success of the customer journey and the customer experience. In order to know if your customer experience is the greatest experience that they've had, and now that you are the one setting that bar, you can always ask them. The thing is that if you've got your KPIs set and you know what constitutes a great customer experience for them, and you've got those mapped out, then that's going to help you determine that yes, you have set that new bar high because that's what they said it was going to be, and you're delivering on that. What a great way to understand who your ideal customers are and then help them get to know who you are by creating that experience from the very beginning. And the know process is the very beginning stage for them. So you'll want to make sure that you're delivering on that, because once you've done that, you've kind of gotten that stickiness, that attractiveness is there, that magnetism that's really going to hold them to you. And once they've gotten that, then they're more likely to travel along the experience to getting to like you. Know, like, trust, remember. And getting to that point is going to help you also map out that experience based on the experiences that they're having and the feedback that you're getting on what's working and what's not working. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I also know that you have other choices that you can watch and support and subscribe to. So I want to say thank you very much for choosing to be here and choosing to watch my video. If you have questions, please leave them below in the comments. I respond very quickly. Don't forget to hit subscribe and that bell notification, and other resources are listed below in the description. So if there's something I mentioned, like the Hubspot CRM, I share all kinds of different marketing tips and topics and tools and how-tos on this channel and my other platforms. So I hope to connect with you here or on the platform of choice for you. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate it. And until next time, make today great.